At night, when the world slows down, many seniors face a sudden, jarring pain, leg cramps that strike without warning. While most blame age or lack of minerals, few realize the deeper roots may lie in the mind. According to ancient Shaolin wisdom and the teachings of Master Shi Heng Yi, the body is not merely a machine, it is a mirror of the soul's state. Stress, unresolved memories, emotional disconnection, fear of decline, and a restless mind can all tighten the body from within, until it speaks through pain. In this video, we uncover the top 5 psychological causes of nighttime leg cramps in seniors, how the hidden tension in your thoughts and feelings may be the true source of the discomfort. More importantly, you'll learn how to release it. Not through medication, but through breath, awareness, and movement, so the body can finally rest, and so can you. There is a kind of tension that doesn't shout, but whispers through the body hour after hour, chronic subtle stress. This stress is not the kind you can easily point at. It's not a crisis, not a scream. It's the quiet tightening of the jaw, the slight clenching in your stomach when you watch the evening news, the background worry about your family, your finances, or your health. When carried long enough, this tension hardens into the flesh, especially during the night when the body is no longer distracted. The legs, often the most used and least cared for part of the body, begin to speak back in the form of cramps. The Shaolin tradition teaches that what the mind holds, the body echoes. Chronic subtle stress keeps the sympathetic nervous system, your fight-or-flight mechanism, half switched on, even during sleep. This overactivity doesn't just raise heart rate or blood pressure, it keeps your muscles slightly charged, like an engine that never fully shuts off. When this state continues night after night, the calcium and magnesium that regulate muscle contraction become imbalanced. Nerve impulses misfire. Muscles spasm. The legs, especially the calves, which carry your weight all day, become the release valve for that invisible internal pressure. But the root of subtle stress is not always external. It is the internal resistance to what is. Worry about aging, about being a burden, about losing what once was. These thoughts seem small individually. Yet together, they form a background frequency of stress that the body cannot ignore. Shaolin philosophy asks not for you to escape these truths, but to meet them with discipline and breath. Begin your evening with what the Shaolin monks call quiet standing, a form of standing meditation. Feet shoulder width apart. Knees slightly bent. Spine tall. Arms loose. Just stand and breathe into your lower belly. Let the inhale arrive like a wave. Let the exhale drop down your legs like a warm river. This posture grounds the chi and brings awareness into the legs, the very place cramps most often occur. Standing like this for even 5 minutes calms the nervous system and starts to drain tension from the lower limbs. Next, gently massage the calves using both thumbs in small, circular motions, starting from the ankle upward. Press with presence, not force. This activates acupressure points and helps clear stagnant energy in the meridians associated with the kidneys and bladder, both related to fear and rest. As you do so, breathe out slowly through the mouth, letting the day leave with each exhale. Finally, sit quietly and write down 3 things that went well today. Not big achievements, just moments of ease or kindness. Someone smiled at you, the tea was warm, your breath felt full. This is not sentimentality, it is training the mind to shift from hypervigilance to calm receptivity. Master Shi Heng Yi reminds us, the mind is like a field. What you plant consistently will grow. If you sow tension, the body reaps tightness. If you plant calm, the body follows. Nighttime cramps are not only a physical condition. They are often the symptom of a life carrying too much, too quietly. So ask yourself, what am I still holding when the world goes quiet? If your cramps persist or worsen, it's important to speak with a medical professional who can evaluate underlying causes. Sometimes what keeps the muscles tight at night isn't the day's stress, but what has never been released, unresolved emotional memories. These are the silent passengers we carry in our nervous system, grief we didn't fully express, betrayals we never made peace with, regrets buried under years of stoic silence. These memories don't vanish with time. They lodge themselves in the body's deeper layers, often in areas that are far from the heart, like the legs, which symbolize movement and forward living. When these unprocessed emotions linger long enough, the body eventually calls attention to them. In many seniors, that call arrives as a sudden cramp in the night. Western neuroscience now confirms what Eastern wisdom has taught for centuries: emotional memories are stored not just in the brain, but also in the tissues and fascia. The amygdala, a key center of emotional memory, can activate muscle tension patterns long after the original event has passed. In Shaolin practice, this is understood through the lens of energy flow. Emotions like guilt or sorrow become knots in the qi pathway, especially along the liver meridian, which passes through the legs. When energy cannot move freely, muscles contract unnaturally. Sleep, which should be a time of repair, becomes a battlefield of inner tension. To release these stored memories, you don't need to relive them, you need to honor and transform them. One evening practice to begin with is forgiveness writing. Take a few quiet minutes before bed to write a letter, not to send, but to express. Write to someone who hurt you, someone you lost, or even to your younger self. Let the words come without judgment. Say what was never said. The purpose is not to forget, but to soften the grip. You may feel heat rise, tears fall, or just a sigh of relief. This emotional discharge has a direct calming effect on the body's musculature. Follow this with belly breathing while lying on your back. Place one hand on your stomach and the other on your chest. Breathe only into the hand on your stomach. Let it rise and fall like the tide. Master Shi Heng Yi teaches, breathing is the remote control of the nervous system. When you control the breath, you begin to rewrite the patterns the past has etched into your body. Each exhale is a small letting go. Over time, the breath reaches into places that words cannot. Finally, apply a warm towel or heating pad to your calves before sleep. Heat softens both muscle and memory. While doing so, repeat silently, "I have walked far enough. I allow peace into my legs tonight." This gentle affirmation, when repeated with intention, begins to reprogram the subconscious mind and tells the muscles, it is safe to rest. Cramps that come from old emotional weight are often the body's attempt to signal, there is something I'm still carrying. The question becomes, not what caused the pain, but what would happen if you stopped holding it. There is a unique tension that forms not from doing too much, but from feeling too little contact, emotional isolation. In the quiet hours of the night, especially for seniors, the absence of connection can echo through the body like a cold wind. You may be surrounded by silence, yet inside the body, a kind of noise builds. Muscles tighten not in response to movement, but to the absence of shared warmth. Loneliness doesn't just weigh on the heart, it hardens the limbs. The legs, designed to walk us toward others, begin to seize in stillness, as if the body itself is reaching for lost companionship. From the Shaolin perspective, humans are energy beings as much as physical ones. When we are disconnected emotionally, our qi becomes stagnant, especially in the lower dantian, the energetic center just below the navel, which governs grounding, stability, and movement. Western science reflects this truth in another way. Oxytocin, the so-called bonding hormone, drops when isolation rises, leading to increased cortisol and muscular rigidity. The sympathetic system stays alert, searching for safety in a world that feels emotionally vacant. The result? Muscles fire too easily. Legs spasm as if trying to flee the coldness of disconnection. To begin releasing this tension, you don't need to force social contact. The healing starts from within. Begin with a practice called heart-opening breath. Sit upright on the edge of your bed. As you inhale, lift your shoulders gently, then roll them back and down as you exhale, expanding the chest. Imagine your breath opening the front of your body like morning light through a curtain. Do this for 3 minutes. This movement signals safety to your nervous system and tells the body, you are not abandoned, you are here. Next, reach out with presence, not pressure. Write a short note, make a call, or send a message to one person each day, someone you haven't spoken to in a while. Don't ask for anything. Just share one kind memory, one moment of gratitude. Connection, like muscle flexibility, returns with repetition. It does not have to be loud or large. Even a single genuine moment of contact each day can begin to reverse the physiological effects of emotional aloneness. And then, before sleep, place both hands on your thighs. Close your eyes. Feel the warmth of your own touch. Say quietly, even in silence, I am not alone. Master Shi Heng Yi reminds us, to touch deeply, begin by touching your own presence. This is not a metaphor, it is a method. Your own hands can offer the reassurance that your body needs. With repeated practice, the legs begin to soften, not because someone else touches them, but because you have chosen to return home to yourself. Leg cramps in the night are sometimes the cry of the body asking, who sees me? Who holds me? But the first response must come from within. And so the deeper question becomes, not who is missing from your life, but how present are you to your own heart? There is a kind of fear that moves silently beneath the surface, a fear of physical decline. For many seniors, every twinge in the body, every stumble, every nighttime cramp becomes a whisper from mortality. You may not speak this fear aloud, but the body hears it. It shows up in how you walk more cautiously, how you avoid certain movements, how your muscles brace before you even lay down. And at night, when the distractions of the day fall away, the fear tightens its grip. The legs, symbols of strength and mobility, begin to resist rest. They contract sharply, as if resisting the very idea of growing weaker. In both Eastern and Western traditions, the mind's perception of threat directly impacts muscle tone. Neuroscience tells us that fear activates the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, keeping cortisol levels elevated, which interferes with magnesium absorption and disrupts neuromuscular balance. In Shaolin wisdom, fear settles in the kidneys, energetically linked to willpower and longevity. When fear becomes chronic, the qi in the kidney meridian weakens, draining energy from the legs. The body, sensing instability, tenses in an attempt to compensate. And so the cramp becomes not just physical pain, but an emotional echo of inner insecurity. But fear of decline can be transformed, not by denying it, but by learning to face it with clarity and courage. One of the foundational Shaolin teachings says, strength does not come from muscle, but from trust in your foundation. Begin by re-establishing your foundation each evening through a simple rooted stance. Sit on a chair with your feet flat on the ground. Press down gently through the soles, feeling the earth's resistance. Breathe into your lower abdomen, and with each exhale, imagine your legs becoming heavier, not with fatigue, but with rootedness, as if they are growing into the ground. This posture sends a clear signal to the body, you are supported. Follow this with gentle ankle rotations and knee flexes while seated. Movement, even in small amounts, rebuilds the body's trust in itself. These rotations help lubricate the joints, reduce stiffness, and create a sense of agency over the body. You are not powerless in the face of aging, you are participating in your own vitality. Lastly, practice mental reframing before bed. Instead of asking, what is weakening, ask, what is still strong? You may no longer run, but perhaps your breath is steady, your hands are capable, your mind still sharp. Write down one strength each night. It may seem simple, but this consistent recognition calms the survival part of your brain and helps the body move into the parasympathetic state required for deep rest. Nighttime cramps are often the result of the legs bracing against an invisible fall, the imagined collapse of independence. But the truth is, the body listens to the stories you tell it. When you speak to yourself with fear, it tightens. When you speak with grounded strength, it begins to release. So ask yourself tonight, not what you're losing, but what foundation are you still standing on? Even when the body is still, the mind may be racing, over schedules, over conversations, over decades of accumulated thought. This is mental overactivity, the constant spinning of the inner world, long after the outer world has quieted. For seniors, especially those who once carried great responsibilities or still feel the urge to stay sharp, the habit of thinking never really sleeps. But the body needs to. And when the mind refuses to slow down, the muscles, especially in the legs, don't receive the signal to release. They remain subtly activated, until suddenly, in the depth of night, they cramp like a wire pulled too tight. The connection is physiological. The more active the mind, the more the sympathetic nervous system remains engaged. This inhibits the release of neurotransmitters like GABA, which help muscles relax. Shaolin philosophy teaches that the mind and body are not two, they are one flow. When thoughts overflow, qi becomes chaotic. The lower body suffers the most because it is the final destination of descending energy. If the flow is erratic, stagnation occurs in the legs. Over time, the body interprets mental noise as a reason to remain on alert. It cannot drop into true rest. And so, the legs seize, not from exertion, but from the friction of unending mental motion. To quiet the mind before sleep, begin by simplifying sensory input. Turn off digital devices at least 30 minutes before bed. Sit in dim light and bring your focus inward. Practice what Master Shi Heng Yi refers to as returning to the breath like a bird to its nest. Lie down, place your hands on your lower belly, and breathe in gently through the nose for 4 counts, hold for 2, exhale through the mouth for 6. This rhythm signals the body that the mind is stepping back. With every breath, imagine the thoughts melting downward, pooling into the legs as warmth rather than tension. Then, apply focused attention through acupressure. Use your thumb to press gently on the acupuncture point known as bladder 57, found midway between the back of your knee and your heel, in the curve of the calf muscle. Press for 30 seconds on each leg, breathing slowly as you do. This point helps release tension in the lower limbs and encourages downward movement of qi. It is a simple yet powerful way to bridge mind and body. Lastly, keep a worry journal by your bedside. Before sleeping, take 5 minutes to write down the looping thoughts, not to solve them, but to release them. The act of putting them on paper tells the subconscious mind that it does not need to hold them through the night. This practice, though modern in form, reflects an ancient Shaolin principle: empty the cup before it spills. Mental overactivity is not a sign of brilliance, it is often a sign of unfinished stillness. The legs cramp because the body does not know when the race is over. But you can teach it. You can say, through breath and presence and intention, it is safe to rest now. The thoughts can wait. And so tonight, ask yourself, not what haven't you thought of yet, but what would happen if you simply let the mind be quiet. Nighttime leg cramps may seem like a simple muscle issue, but as we've explored, they often carry messages from deeper within: the stress you carry, the memories you haven't released, the fears you don't speak aloud. In the teachings of Master Shi Heng Yi, healing is not about fighting the body, but listening to it. Each cramp may be your body's way of asking for gentleness, presence, and peace. When you bring awareness to your breath, when you reconnect with your body through simple practices, you are not just relieving pain, you are restoring harmony between mind and body. If this video brought you insight or calm, we invite you to support our channel by liking, subscribing, and sharing this with someone who might need it. And let us know in the comments, which of these 5 causes resonated with you the most. Remember, healing begins the moment you stop ignoring the whispers. May your nights become softer, and your body more at ease. Until next time, stay grounded, stay aware, and walk your path with strength and clarity. If your cramps persist despite these inner and outer practices, always speak with a medical professional to explore physical causes. But remember, healing begins not just with action, but with awareness.